Hi. Um, I am here to talk about my new upcoming webinar, Understanding Your Feelings. So, this is actually like a part two to the other webinar that I recently ran called Understanding Your Thinking. And why I wanted to do this is because your feelings is actually the flip side to your thinking. So if you think of thinking and feelings are like two sides of the same coin. So if you have a really good understanding of your thinking, if you watch that webinar and why it's doing what it's doing and how to kind of differentiate between the thinking mind that's in limited thinking and telling things that aren't true, and then connecting with your deeper inner wisdom and beginning to understand what that feels like, how those thoughts come up, that's great. You're on the road. But the thing is that thoughts have feelings attached to them. And really, what we tend to struggle with the most, what gets us like tripped up the most, or what we don't like, is the feelings. We don't like feeling feelings we don't want to feel. That's just the reality of it. So if you notice, when you have a thought, right? If it's a happy thought, you feel happy. But if it's a sad thought, you feel sad. It's the content of the thought, what the thought's saying actually has a feeling with it. And so we end up spending a lot of time actually trying to do things so that we feel better, right? So let's look, for example, at the body. We have a lot of thinking about what is a good body. We learned a lot of conditioning about an attractive body, how our bodies should be, and then all of the things that it means about having a certain kind of body. And there's just tons of thinking going on, and so much of that thinking causes us to not feel good. And so we listen to the thinking, and it says, "Okay, I know how to feel better. I'm just going to change my body so that I feel better." And that is likely what you have been doing. It's what I had been doing for so long, and it works a little bit so long as it works. And then if it doesn't work, then we feel bad again. Or it works for a little time, and then we have to keep up with it again to try to keep that good feeling going. But what happens is when your body doesn't end up looking like the mind tells you it should, then you feel bad again and you're stuck with more bad feelings, with the feelings of disappointment and failure and all of that kind of stuff. All right. So, really, again, it's all about feelings. It all comes down to that. It's that we are experiencing life with some heavy feelings, scary feelings, anxious feelings, whatever it may be that we don't like. And so, what I am focusing on in this webinar is to really now start to understand, what are feelings? I know it may be like, what do you mean? Why do I need to understand what feelings are? But when you can understand what feelings are, you can actually totally start to change and navigate your experience of yourself, life, and your body when you know what exactly are feelings, why do I have these feelings, what the heck do I do with these feelings, what happens when feelings come up when I feel like I don't know how to handle them. When we can really understand, like, oh, I'm feeling this, I know I am feeling it, here's what I can do with it, which doesn't require like having to change your body or your external circumstances in order to change that feeling. It actually can all start from within. That is a game changer, because you are now empowered. You now, like, there's no feeling like a victim with what's going on with inside of you. You get it. You're like, oh, I get why I'm feeling this way. And now I know what to do with it. It is empowering. It is a life skill that is going to do nothing but serve you. So I would love for you to join me in learning how to understand your feelings and what to do with it. It has been a game changer for me, which is why I am so passionate about sharing it with you. It's how it works. Like, I find something that just really works, and I just want to be like, hey, did you hear about this? Why didn't people teach us this? Because I didn't learn this in school. And it's really shifted the way that I experience my body and myself, knowing how to understand these feelings. It's really been a game changer. Now, like I said in the beginning, the kind of feelings and thinking are two sides of the same coin. So if you didn't attend the Understanding Your Thinking webinar, then if you register for this Understanding Your Feelings webinar, you can actually purchase that webinar for a discount. And vice versa, if you attended the Understanding Your Thinking webinar, I'm happy to give you a discount on attending this Understanding Your Feelings webinar. So it's a win-win whether you attended the previous one or not, but attending and listening to Understanding Your Thinking, the replay, is really going to help support your understanding of the feelings. Because again, they're two sides of the same coin. So you can't have one without the other. But we're really going to dig now into this feelings part, because that, again, this is where it's at. Like, how we experience life is really colored by our feelings, and we spend so much time trying to change our feelings in order to, or change things outside of us, or change things in our life in order to feel better. But we can actually make that change within ourselves by just understanding, again, what are these feelings? Why are they happening as they are? And what do I do with them? How can I work with them? How can I navigate them? So that's what we're going to dig into this webinar. Now, it's going to be happening next Friday, April 21st at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you cannot attend that live because you're working, different time zone, whatever, you can still register, and I'm going to record it and you're going to get the replay. So anybody who registers for this webinar will be able to get the replay. However, if you can attend live, there's great value in that because you can ask questions then. So at the end, I'm going to leave room for a question and answer period where, because when we're learning this material, the mind's going to be like, yeah, but what about this? Or how do I navigate this circumstance? And that is so valuable because then we get that experiential piece. And so I can address those questions. So if you come live, you can bring those questions and we can go deeper into that discussion. So I would love to have you join me live next Friday, April 21st at 12:30 Eastern, or just register and get the replay if you cannot. And remember, I highly encourage purchasing Understanding Your Thinking if you did not attend that webinar. So you just really get both sides, you get both pieces, and you're going to get, again, a discount if you purchase that one. And I'm offering that same discount to those of you who did purchase Understanding Your Thinking to attend Understanding Your Feelings.